All right, this next recipe is a truffled edamame dumpling. This is one of my favorite recipes from years back, out of the book Crazy Sexy Kitchen. This aromatic, flavor-packed dumpling is a great combination of earthiness from the truffles, and the sweetness from the broth comes from using the Sauternes wine. This is my daughter's favorite dumpling. We can't make enough of them at the house, so be sure you double up on the recipe, very important. All right, so let's start off by making this shallot Sauternes broth. So we're gonna start off with shallots. You can also use red onions. Shallots tend to be a little bit stronger in flavor. So I'm gonna use some of these. I'm gonna just chop up a lot of shallot here. And it doesn't have to be consistent because you're gonna end up straining these shallots out towards the end. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add those to my pot. Turn it on, turn the heat on. Let's add some olive oil in there. I only have a little bit of garlic, but I'm gonna go ahead and just really crush up that garlic. You don't need to really mince it or anything. Just gonna crush it, and then I have some thyme as well that are gonna go in there. And because this is gonna get strained at the end, it doesn't matter if there's large pieces of shallots, large pieces of herbs, or large pieces of garlic. All right, we're gonna add those shallots to the pan. That's the sizzle you wanna hear. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper here. Get some color on those. Soften them up a little bit before we add that garlic and thyme. Now that those shallots have some nice color, let's go ahead and add those. All right, stir those in. All right, it's ready to get deglazed. All right, so I'm gonna use a Sauternes wine. You can also use a sweeter Riesling wine, that works very well. You just really, the purpose of using a sweeter wine is you're gonna really reduce that acidity and that sweetness in the wine. That's what you're looking for with the shallots and that wine. And it's gonna pair so well with that sort of earthiness of the truffle that, as we mentioned earlier. And what this is doing is gonna deglaze the pan, and I'm gonna add a little more than you would expect. We're gonna reduce that down quite a bit, and what that's doing is it's picking up all those sugars from those shallots. And we're gonna reduce that down by probably about half, and then I'll add some vegetable stock and finish it with some seasoning, reduce it a little bit longer, and strain it, and then that's the broth for the dumplings. So let's actually make that dumpling batter now. All right, so we're gonna start off with a couple ingredients here that we're gonna blend. So we're gonna start off with some edamame. This is just some frozen, thawed out edamame. I'm gonna keep some in the bowl, hold a little bit back. All right, we're gonna go ahead and use a little bit of cashews. Very similar formula to those corn dumplings. By using some cashews for the creaminess, I'm also using some of that vegan butter also for creaminess and richness to these dumplings, okay? I'm gonna add 1 clove of garlic in there. I'm gonna add some vegetable stock. You want this dumpling batter to be a little bit thicker than that corn one. And lastly, the secret ingredient, truffle oil, okay? Make sure you have a high quality truffle oil. It's gonna make all the difference with this recipe. You're gonna add a little bit more truffle oil than you normally would think, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and blend that up. Pop that off. So with the amount of fat that's in here, if you were to chill this, it would certainly thicken up, but that's the consistency you want, okay? Let's go ahead and add that to a bowl. Let's add the rest of that edamame that we did not blend. Use that batter. And so I reserved a little bit of that edamame just to give it a little bit of texture in here. Okay, I'm gonna season that up. We didn't season it in the blender, so we're gonna season that up. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna actually put it in the fridge for a little bit, and it's gonna firm up, okay? And it's gonna make it a little bit easier to actually fill the dumplings. So that is reduced quite a bit there. I would say by almost half there with the wine. All right, let's add some vegetable stock now. All right, let's let that reduce for a little while, for about 10 minutes, and then we're good to go to strain it. So the vegetable stock has been reducing for about 10, 12 minutes. Oh, that nice sweetness from the wine has really come out. So I'm gonna pull that off the stove and I'm gonna strain it here. All right. That is good to go. We're gonna set that aside. This is absolutely delicious. Treat it like gold. All right, so let's grab that edamame filling. That has been in the fridge here. So you can see how that's thickened up quite a bit. Let's grab our tray. Okay, let's start forming these. So we're gonna do a different type of crimp here. All right, so we're gonna do a little gyoza crimp. So I'm gonna go all the way around the edge. Okay. And what you do is you're holding it like a taco, all right? Then I'm gonna go ahead and crimp, 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 and crimp. Now what you're left with is this little gyoza, okay? All right, now that we've formed those dumplings, I'm gonna do another variation on cooking these, okay? So we're gonna actually pan fry these just to crisp them up on the bottom so the skins actually tighten up, and then we're gonna steam them, okay? There's another version which we're gonna do in the next video is pan frying them and putting a lid on, and so they absorb a lot more of the oil, whereas in this case, you're basically pan searing them just to get a little bit of hold on the bottom before you steam them. And it's nice to do that because of the surface area. All right, so I have the pan on a medium high. So for this steamer, unlike the corn dumplings, we put cabbage leaves down. You can also spray, which works really well. So we're gonna go ahead and spray the bottom there. Another variation from using cabbage leaves. All right, so this pan is heating up on a medium heat. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of oil in the pan. These are gonna go right from being pan fried into the steamer. This is the crispness that you want, all right? Directly in the steamer here. So these only need about anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes to steam. Let's check those out. Those are looking nice. So you can see using the fresh dumpling dough, it actually swells quite a bit. It's not as thin as the store-bought, but I love that sort of chewiness that it carries. I'm gonna give those another minute. The broth is heated up. Oh, those look perfect. Those look so nice. Look at those meaty dumplings. Oh, those are nice. Those are held together real nice. I'm gonna go ahead and place those, each one in a little bowl. All right, let's finish those with a little bit of that sauteing shallot broth as well. Oh, it's so sweet and delicious. Works so well with the edamame. All right, there you have it. Truffle edamame dumplings with sauteing shallot broth. All right, the next recipe we're gonna make is a truffle edamame, truffle mommy dumpling.